Schmo with the pros. We got BC Brian Campbell. We got Luke Thomas. We got the Morning Kombat Crew. We just finished up the press conference hosted by KLP Sonnen, Anderson the Spider Silva, Jake Paul. Immediate reaction, Luke Thomas.
That was a weird presser. That was a little weird. Taking pictures with Habib grandma, and there was no animosity. That was the first time I've been to a Jake Paul presser. Remember in Cleveland there was the melee in the audience. Remember that? This time it was all pretty cordial, pretty weird, but I'm excited for the fight.
Yeah. It was wholesome, right? Problem bot, Grandma Habib, but it was the face-off at the end where I think it got real for the first time, right? A couple of jokes during it about, well, I'm still going to knock you out. But then you saw Anderson taller. Look, this is the largest opponent in size Jake has faced, and certainly the best in terms of ability. I think this presser, while weird, got me a little bit more excited for the fight, and I think that's the goal, you know?
Well, Anderson Silva still wants that barbecue with Chael Sonnen. Caught him by surprise on stage.
Yeah, we talked to Chael before, and we were like, when was the last time you saw him? Now, I guess he had him on his podcast relatively recently, but the last time he saw him was their last fight in 2013, so it had been 9 years since they had seen each other in person. They were pretty cordial as well. It was nice to, actually, that part was really, really nice to see.
BC, but Jake Paul, he's still not fighting a professional boxer. It's an MMA legend, but it's not a professional boxer.
Well, it's like, look at the names he was, and let's give him some room on this escalation. He's 5-0. Guys in their 6 pro fight don't fight on TV normally, let alone pay-per-views. He tried to fight Tommy Fury, who's legit-ish. He tried to fight Asim Rahman Jr., who's more legit, it seems. I think Anderson's a tougher opponent than the 3 of those, and I think anyone who's caught up on the age, 47, hasn't seen Anderson box. That's ask him. Have you seen Anderson box if you're worried about the age here? Well, I have. He's 3-1 as a pro. He beat a former world champion in Chavez Jr. We don't know who's going to win this. We don't. I mean, look, you may think, Schmo, at the end of the day, that you think you know. You have no idea.
The Schmo doesn't know. You're damn right. BC, Nostradamus. He knows what the Schmo is thinking. But listen, Jake Paul told the Schmo he gave Nate Diaz performance over the weekend, UFC 279, a 10 out of 10. He's no longer a part of the UFC. He's a free agent. Do you think the next logical opponent for Jake Paul, if he gets through Anderson Silva, is Nate Diaz?
I think he could even lose, and as long as he turns in a respectable performance, whatever that means, there's a lot of different ways to achieve that, then I don't know how they don't. I was saying this before, Schmo, I don't know how you feel. If everything lines up, and again, to your point, a big if, but if everything lines up, Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz, dude, that might do 1 million buys. I mean, that is an insanely huge fight. So, here's the thing, though. You got to get through Anderson effing Silva to get there. Not an easy task.
Is this how Anderson the Spider Silva rides off in the sunset to put a cap and a feather to a legendary career?
No, I think this is how he gets an even bigger fight from this. I mean, look, he's a hot commodity right now in this like weird celebrity bauble of crossover boxing in which he seems the most legit, as does Jake. That's why this is the perfect fight at the perfect time. But if Anderson looks good in win or defeat, I mean, there could be big. But I want to talk real quick about what Jake could gain. It's not just the critical respect of improving his boxing skills. I think if Jake's in a real fight, win or lose, and what I mean by real fight is back and forth action. We saw some moments against Woodley, but it was largely sparring from a distance. I think what the public really wants is they want to see if Jake Paul's got a backbone, a chin, an ability to get hurt and bounce back. I think there's potential wins even beyond whether he wins or loses the fight that we're going to find out answers to questions we don't have yet. All right.
Anderson Silva, he doesn't like tattoos. What kind of side bet are we going to get? Jake Paul willing to put a spider on his flesh?
Yeah, I like the tattoo bet because those are like really consequential. What kind of bet would we get? It's probably going to be dumb. I'm probably going to hate it.
Well, can I ask you about tattoos? Because I don't have any, but it's more of a fear of needles. He not only has a lot, he openly supports ass tats.
Yeah.
What's wrong? Like, not just like, oh, I love my girlfriend on the ass, like full ass coverage.
So listen to this. So I got a tattoo on Saturday. I got a tattoo on the top of my right arm. And the guy who was in the shop who did it was a giant BC fan. This is a true story. He's a giant BC fan who also has ass tats, who is distraught at the idea that BC doesn't like them. BC, I think we need to go down to DC and talk to this guy, maybe get you a tattoo. I don't know about the ass cheeks, but something else.
Schmo, I know this is your show, but can you be the deciding vote? Ass tats, yay or nay?
If you're going to get an ass tat, it's got to be in the form of branding. The Schmo was in college. There's a guy by the name of God. He owned a bar called the Meat Rack. He used to brand people with his logo on it. And one drunk guy, Carl, don't need to say his last name, got an ass-branded tattoo. The Schmo's seen it. So if you're going to get an ass tattoo, might as well get it branded.
I mean, who's going to see your ass? He wants to do it. Luke Thomas wants to brand his own ass with that, like, tribal look. Who's going to see it?
Tribal. I want to get the Japanese bodysuit.
So what are you going to do? Share pics with your friends? Here's my asshole.
Dude, I'm going to share all of those pics with you. I'm going to share every piece of it with you to make sure you see terrible, terrible things.
Wow, it gets wild with the Morning Kombat Crew. Final message for all your fans out there worldwide.
Jake Paul taking on Anderson Silva. I gotta say, I didn't love the Woodley fights all that much. This one to me feels a little bit different. If you've been a critic, fine, no problem. Not going to argue with you. I think it'd be silly to miss this one. This one is going to be interesting.
The World MMA Awards may have gotten it wrong for journalist or personality of the year. Errol, you had a good run, but it's time for the Schmo.
Schmo time, baby. You heard it from BC. They're the pros. I'm the Schmo. Los Angeles. Just finished the press conference. We're out.